Hi, I'm Dr. Evita Fernandez, a retired obstetrician who today is the chairperson and managing director of the Fernandez Foundation. I was 8 years old when I knew I wanted to be a doctor. And when I was 16, I was given the privilege of watching a woman birth her baby. And I was completely fascinated. And I knew then I wanted to be an obstetrician. Life has been good, and I spent my entire professional life of more than 3 decades being an obstetrician only. I didn't do any gynec work, and that's a privilege. When I was handed over the reins of my parents' hospital, I knew I wanted to focus on pregnancy and childbirth, and how could we build an environment where every pregnant woman who walked through our doors could feel safe and we could offer her care. So the concept of a team began, and that led to 24/7 care, and that led to working with other teams, protocols, guidelines, audits. And over the years, we became a referral center. So today, in our 75th year of existence as Fernandez Hospital, we are totally focused and have remained in the space of maternal and newborn services. About 12 years ago, when we began to see maternal deaths happening because we were a referral center, I was drawn into reading more and more about maternal mortality and discovered that countries that had invested in a strong professional midwifery cadre had low maternal and infant mortality and morbidity. India at that time did not display such a robust professional cadre. So we at Fernandez decided to pilot a small group and understand what professional midwifery was all about, with the hope that if we could succeed and we understood it, then probably this could be replicated across the country. My journey with midwifery made me realize that we as obstetricians had grown into becoming horribly interventional. And somewhere along this journey, I had lost the wonder and beauty of an undisturbed physiological, or what we would call today, a natural birth. And I realized if I wanted to be a true obstetrician, I had to unlearn what I had learned over the years, free my mind of all that was unnecessary, unscientific, and embrace the evidence which was growing. And once we decided to do that, we've never looked back. We have enjoyed embracing the midwifery philosophy, working along with midwives as colleagues, with mutual respect and trust. And this journey has also taught me that when we work like this with an open mind, open to evidence, open to change, women who are the center, or who should be at the center of our decisions, are actually happier. The outcomes are much better. So this is how we still continue to remain in this space. When I discovered that midwifery is important, I didn't stop to look at the challenges. We just kept going, learning more about it, introducing it. It took me about 18 months, maybe to 2 years, till we had all the obstetricians at Fernandez on board. So the challenges, and I'd like to put them into 3 buckets. First, we had to create a whole new working relationship. We used to treat nurses so badly, treat them as gophers, second-class citizens. But here we were looking at nurses embracing a whole new profession, and then to accept them as colleagues and not as assistants, to look at them as colleagues who were going to take charge of a woman, charge of 2 lives. So the training had to be of global standards. So that was one challenge. How do we go about it? We had no role models. So when the stars get aligned, magic happens. We had volunteers, very seasoned midwives from the UK, who came up on board and taught midwifery. So we learned a little more, and that was one challenge that we were able to face. The second is, how do we convince women? We were around for 63 years, and we were suddenly introducing a whole new cadre and telling women, you know what, we don't need to be there. I would like you to meet a midwife, and she's going to take care of you. So we had to break through that glass ceiling and convince women that midwives are a lovely professional cadre whom you will enjoy. Obviously, we're talking about healthy, normal, low-risk pregnant women. So that took a few years, and today I can say it with quiet pride and gratitude. Women have to wait sometimes 2 weeks to get an antenatal appointment with a midwife because we simply don't have enough midwives for the volumes that we take care of. So one was the obstetric fraternity. We ourselves had to change to the women. But today, why is midwifery not growing across the country? And I fear there are many reasons, but the biggest challenge, as I see it, is my own fraternity. Because if I don't know who a midwife is, I have never worked with a midwife, I don't know her scope of practice, so there will be tremendous fear. Also, the medico-legal complications. If something does go wrong, who takes responsibility? There are all these little challenges that we have to work through, and I am confident if we can sit across the table and if we obstetricians can be a little more open, get midwives into our hospitals, into our birthing rooms, I am confident a large section of our challenges will be removed. The 4th challenge, of course, today is women are beginning to hear about midwifery, hear about midwives. More and more women, because as we take childbirth classes in 3 languages, women are empowered. Women want a whole different birthing experience. So there is a demand for midwives. And that is going to grow into a movement because those voices are going to get louder. And I'm happy about it because when you stop to think, social change in the past has always been led by women's movements. And this too will happen. So I am confident that while these challenges stare us in the face, midwifery will come to stay, and eventually obstetricians and midwives will work together. What do I hope for in the future with respect to women's birthing? I dream of a world in India where every pregnant woman will be able to access a midwife, and only if required will see an obstetrician or other specialists depending on her situation. Because I am convinced when midwives and obstetricians work together collaboratively, it is the woman and her newborn and her family that benefits the best. And what are we all working for? Safety, yes. High quality, competent care, yes. But more importantly, respectful, compassionate, woman-centered, evidence-based care is really what we should all be striving for. And that will happen when these two professions come together and work as one.